What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D-Neil back with another reaction video. Y'all know I gotta do an episode of Would I Lie to You. I absolutely love this show. Here we go with This Is My featuring Ben, Sean Locke, David Mitchell, and Richard Hammond. Would I Lie to You? Before we dive in, I need you to dive into that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested, and drop your favorite video suggestion in the comment section. What we got?
Please welcome this week's special guest, Ben. So, Richard, what is Ben to you?
This is Ben, and I once convinced him that he'd been spooked by a ghost in a country house.
Sean, how do you know Ben?
Well, this is Ben, and I had to talk to him for over an hour to keep him calm when he got trapped in a portaloo.
David, what's your relationship with Ben?
This is Ben, and he very recently took me to my first ever football match, and was disappointed that I nodded off for a bit in the second half.
Lee's team. Wait.
Richard's telling the truth.
Disappointed that I nodded off for a bit in the second half.
Lee's team, where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, Sean, how was he trapped in a portaloo?
Yeah.
The lock wouldn't work, wouldn't open.
But why was it such a tense situation that you had to calm him down? Why is he panicking?
Because Ben, and I'm sure you'll notice that, I mean, you just have to look at him to know he suffers from a lot of anxieties. I mean, he looks so comfortable here, doesn't he? Just so relaxed under all these lights. He's not. Inside, he's... on a campsite.
Had you met him before?
I'd seen him on the campsite.
And he'd nodded. Hello. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, you know what it's like. You walk across a campsite and you've got a toilet roll in your hand. Everyone knows, you know, where you're going. They sort of smile at you. So where you... It's like you've all
been there.
You've all been there. And you're walking across, you've got a toilet roll, and people go, all right, you go. What again? And then they got that what again look without saying it.
So did you go to use the portaloo?
No, I was going out of the campsite.
And you heard, what did you hear?
Well, someone sort of struggling with the mechanism.
Oh, no shouting at this point.
If someone, you know, it's a matter of politeness. If someone's making sort of struggling noises in a portaloo, you don't think you can do much to help. I like to think, and even if I could, I don't really want to get involved in that. As I was walking, I thought,
someone struggling in a what we call a porta potty. Like, my hands are tied. I can't do anything. And you really, like you said, you don't want to do anything because they're in a porta potty. You know what they just did. I agree with Sean.
I don't really want to get involved in that. As I was walking out, I thought, it looks like it was wobbling slightly. And I went back. I said, are you all right? And he went, no, I'm not.
And you talked to him for, you said, an hour?
Yes, yeah, we just...
Well, I'm curious to know what you filled an hour with.
I am too.
Well, I just chatted about how his camping weekend was going.
Well, not very well.
So you're in the thing with him, and eventually what happened? What was the outcome?
Yeah, how did he get out?
The guy came,
He died in
the
there.
campsite manager.
And then when he came out, you obviously the first time you'd seen each other.
Yeah.
And how was that? Did you fall in love?
I'll be honest with you, I think he was a bit disappointed. It was like a blind date.
Now, who else would you like to quiz, Lee?
Richard, could you remind us again, please, of your...
I once persuaded Ben that he'd been spooked by a ghost in a country house.
And what was the story? How did you convince him?
Well, he was in a separate room, and I saw like a stool and realised, hang on, I can hit the rafters, knowing where he was. That'll sound like footsteps coming towards him. So I did, and he believed it was a ghost.
Yeah, and what were you doing in this house? Is this just like an empty house where people are...
No, we worked together in radio.
Yeah.
And we were doing a ghost hunt.
Why was Ben in the room by himself?
Because he just wanted to be brave and go off, and he'd sat in the scariest, supposedly most haunted room in the house, which happened to be directly above where I was in the hall.
And how high were the ceilings in the room that you were in?
But they're fairly high, not massively high.
Well, how high?
If you think of me plus a chair, about that high.
That's a pretty low ceiling.
That's a very low ceiling. That was a cheap shot, Richard. It wasn't. He did take a cheap shot.
Oh, give up!
No, it is.
Really?
I am 6 foot.
All right.
I'm just
We got
saying.
it.
I'm 6 foot, and it's great.
Is it?
How did Ben react when you were making these noises?
Well-
Did it spook him?
Yeah, he ran straight out through the door, which would have been running through where the ghost was.
Oh,
I
so
see,
he properly
right.
panicked.
Oh, God, absolutely terrified.
He was
yeah.
Well, I know that about Ben. He does get very, very spooky. Anything like that freaks him right out.
Goodness, he could open the lock on that door.
Yes.
You know. When did he find out that it had all been a wheeze?
I told him about 10 years later.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
You've let him live with this trauma for 10 years.
No, look at it this way, and I explained it to him like this at the time, because he was quite cross, because you would be. And I said, no, listen, you've dined out on that story. I know you have. You'd have told people at dinner parties, oh, the most haunted house.
Like people saying Nelson Mandela once rang me up.
David, remind us again, please.
This is Ben, and he took me to my first ever football match, and then was disappointed when I dozed off for a bit in the second half.
When was
No.
this?
This was last season.
Oh, he's already got all the words, hasn't he? Training for this one. Last season.
What was the match?
It was association football, and it was between Tottenham Hotspur
Yeah.
and Hull.
And who won?
Tottenham Hotspur.
How do you know?
I went to it.
Where was it played? In
I went to it. That's how I know. I'm not. Oh, David be making me want to believe him. I don't know. There's something about David that makes. But I think Richard is telling the truth. But sheesh, David, because none of his story sounds out of hand.
I went to it
And where was it played? In Tottenham or at Hull?
in Tottenham.
Do you remember the name of the ground?
What if I could? Would that make this definitely true?
I'm not willing to say how I feel about that.
I'm not willing to say how I feel about anything, but that's just because I'm British. Yes, it was at White Hart Lane. Thank you. Yes, I do have a research team.
Do you remember the colour of the kits?
Let's say one team was in white and the other team wasn't.
What colour was the goalkeeper wearing?
Green. All over with a little tricorn hat. As I recall.
So, how do you know Ben?
He was at school with me.
Okay, and if you don't like football, why would you have gone?
I'm an idiot. I like to. No, I was about to say I like to experience new things. No, I don't. But to experiencing new things under peer pressure, he said, "You're always slagging off football. Why don't you come along and the atmosphere will be great. You might quite like it, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll shut up for a bit."
Who are you there to support?
Well, vaguely. He's a Spurs fan. That's the shortening.
Nice.
I was broadly.
This sounds like it could definitely be true. It sounds like it could definitely be true. Ben does look like a football fan over there. Ben does. But I just know it's Richard. But
This fan. That's the shortening.
This is terrible. This is terrible.
I was broadly, hoping his team would win.
Do you remember the score?
I think there was one goal.
Well,
To
for
the
which-
Tottenham Hotspurs?
Exactly, and it was on the basis of that that the victory was declared to be theirs.
Back to you in the studio.
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Ben Richard's frightened friend, Sean's portaloo pal, or David's matchday mate?
I don't see Sean
Richard.
chatting to somebody trapped in a portaloo. He doesn't strike me,
Me neither.
without
Yeah.
laughing. Like,
Yeah,
you don't...
it's true, isn't it? That is a very good point. I've known Sean long enough to know he would be going, oh, come on, everyone, let's push it over.
I agree with that.
Richard and the roof is where he lost me. Just the height.
Yeah,
That's
the height is too high for you.
No, just also like to exert enough force to hear it through the roof with your maybe you would have barely touched the, but then your height. When we looked, no.
It's gotta be Richard.
I think they're saying that in a stately home, any person, however tall, plus a stool, they're doubted. It's not just you.
Oh, no,
it's just him.
He said that like he was a Spanish ambassador and he was worried about being insulted. Yeah. I think, Ambassador, it's any person. It's nothing to do with your height, sir. No, not Richard.
What about David in the football?
Well, it is possible that he would have a friend, I suppose. I suppose we're left with David, are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think it's David? Right, Ben.
Is it?
Would you
it's
please reveal
Richard.
your true identity?
My name is Ben, and Richard spooked me by pretending to be a ghost in a country house.
Really sorry, mate. Really sorry about that. Thank you very much, Ben.
That was close. That was a close call. But David, I I feel like I've learned more about David after watching a couple of videos, and just that he seemed like he wouldn't give in to peer pressure. David does seem like he'd give in to peer pressure to go to something that he wouldn't enjoy. And I don't know, football just seems like something that he wouldn't enjoy. But they were telling some good stories. And David's really good at this. Because I legit thought David knew everything about football, the match, the teams, the where they played at, everything, bro. So I was like, David's really good at telling a lie. He's really good at it. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. It's your boy D Neal. Out.